Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to codingscientist.com. You are watching Hacking Raspberry Pi Zero to Hero series. Alright, guys, so in the last couple of lessons, you did see how to plug in the sensor expansion board and connect multiple sensors and start reading the information. So that's pretty much useful, and using the sensor head, the sensor expansion board makes you to quickly prototype your solutions, especially on the IoT side, and you can avoid a lot of cluttering circuits and wires and stuff like that. However, guys, it's very important that you need to understand the GPIO pins, every pin, all the 40 pins, how it works, how to fix it on the breadboard, connect to resistors, capacitors, switches, and kind of thing, because that's the actual learning of electronics point of view. And especially when it comes to embedded devices, it's very important to understand what those pins does, each and every pin does, so you get an understanding of the architecture, the internal architecture of the chip, and you will be able to write your programs, the MicroPython codes accordingly, right? So going forward, what we will do is, next couple of lessons, I am going to switch over back to the breadboarding aspects and do some basic exercise accessing the GPIO pins, and do some troubleshooting and stuff like that. So before going there, so what I'm trying to actually explain to you, so let me show you the sensor expansion board. So this is the board we had been using in last couple of lessons, right? But going forward, what I'm going to do, I don't want to remove this board. I will leave it as it is, since we have the pins above this, right? So though it is plugged in here inside, but we do have the pins exposed above the sensor expansion board itself. So I'm going to keep a breadboard next to the Raspberry Pi and then access these pins and do some basic programs and projects and stuff like that, connecting some sensors, and it's going to be really useful. So I'm going to show you a trick to access the GPIO pins on your terminal. So how do we access? You did see the chart which I shared with you in the lesson number, I think 1 or 2, I don't remember. So that's the pin out diagram. You can take the printout of that and keep it ready on your desk as a handy reference. But when you get more deeper and deeper into hacking into Raspberry Pi, you just cannot flip around with the papers and look into the drawing pin numbers kind of thing. So I'm going to show you a simple trick, a one single line command on your terminal itself, so that you can quickly see the pins which are assigned. So open up your terminal. This is my VNC. Okay, so how do we open the Linux terminal? So go to this black color box. I can show you right now. Open this and type pin, PINOUT, pin out, right? Like this, pin out, and hit enter. There you go, boom. So as soon as you hit enter, you can see all the 40 pins like 0001 and the Wi-Fi chip where which pin it is connected and kind of thing, your RAM, and then these are all the actual pin allocation. Pin number 1 3 volt, 3.3 volt, pin number 2 5 volt, pin number 4 is 5 volt again, pin number 3 is GPIO 2 3 4 17 27 22 is 11 13 15, and then the GPIO 14 15 18 is pin number 8 10 and 12, and then the 14 is ground. We have sufficient amount of ground pin, for example pin number 6, pin number 9, pin number 14, pin number 20 and 25 32 34 39, all these are ground pins. It's very important, guys, because as we get into more complex electronics projects using Raspberry Pi, we will need just one 5 volt wire, but we may need multiple ground pins to be used, right, for making larger projects. So that makes critical. And your GPIO pins, of course, it's going to be used for your sensor reading and connecting to motors and different kind of circuits and stuff. So this is an interesting command. Go ahead and understand this pin configuration in detail. In addition to that, you can also go to this site. See here in the command itself, it's mentioned pinout.xyz. So let me share that site with you. You can see the site here right now. So if you look at this particular site, pinout.xyz. It's a pretty interesting site. Whoever made it, it's from Raspberry Pi folks, the community, the support community. So you see the pins here. You can click on each of these pins and look at exactly what it does. On the top, there are also some buttons. If you click 5-volt power, it's going to show you pin number 2 and 4. Say if you click UART, it's going to show all these GPIO pins including RX and TX. So all these pins are UART pins. If you say I2C, and I2C, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pins, like pin number 3, 5, 27 and 28 are I2C pins. Now let's look at PWM pins for driving the motors. PWM, there you go. So that's pin number 12, pin number 32, 33 and 35, but the GPIO pins are 13, 19, 18 and 12. It's a kind of weird allocation, but that's fine. That's how even your Jetson Nano is. And wiring Pi, so this is how you are going to wire, and you can also read through this information. It's pretty interesting, guys. You can go through their GitHub repo. That's going to give you ton loads of information. Let's see what happens if we click this. So if you click GPIO2, so here it says the I2C data, right? Your SDA and SCL connections, these are used basically for multiple sensors. SDA communicating with, say, for example, PCA 9685 board, which can drive about 16 different motors, right? So in order to communicate with SDA and SL with one single output, you can drive multiple motors. So that's possible. And let's look at say SDA or clock serial clock pin GPIO 11. So this is the clock pin. It gives you the entire details, including the hotkey buttons of your keyboard. Wiring Pi pin 14. Let's look at 5-volt power. So 5-volt power pins are connected directly to Pi. Guys, go through the site, try to get a hang on the GPIO pins, because this is very important lesson, right? So unless until you get a detailed understanding, a deep level understanding on all the pins, it's going to get difficult for you to put the circuits correctly as you get into the master level. So I showed you how to look for the pins. I also showed you a shortcut using the command terminal. I also showed you the website. I also gave you the chart, right? The physical chart. You can take the print. So it's up to you how you're going to use it and master it. I will see you soon in the next lesson. We will start with some breadboarding exercise, and it's going to get interesting. See you soon. Bye-bye.